the longest day, the Sona Day longest prize. These are the four. I'm amazed, between the four of them, they could not score more than 82 points.
That's embarrassing.
And they're all really good golfers. So how that happened, I don't know. 4 vouchers for them.
Honest golf.
Thank you. Those were your longest day golfers, and they were really long because they were playing in front of me. Then in second last position, in ninth position, and as Ari would say, no money for you. These are people that could only make 84. They're also very pathetic. There's Alec Owen, Joe, Uncle Joe, Bruce, and Justin Ashley. Good gracious. Okay, so second last was those I mentioned, embarrassingly. My co-captain was one of them. Very embarrassing. I have to play with that kind of standards and so on. Then third last, and there were 3 teams, but I kind of did my own count out. But third last, on 85, was Ken, Gilbert, Derek, and Yasin. You can see that was a 4-ball. It was talking a lot more than playing. Talking much more than they were playing at that lot. Then, what is it now? The 4th last team, also on 85, was John, the other John who had unfortunately to leave his father's in hospital. And then John Dransfield, where are you? There, so be embarrassed, be there. Marky, you there as well? Oh. And Joseph. Amazing. Good golfers playing with bad people there. And that was the result. And then here we're coming to the better scores on 87. This is about 4th or 5th from the back. It was Terry, Wes, Ari, and Rina. 87. Then in 4th position, on 89 points, is Nazim, Fahad, Bubi, and Ibrahim on 89 points. Well done, guys. Then in 3rd position, this is unfortunate because this is a hell of a good team. But they had to be pipped at the post. Johnny, who played a blinder. Faik, Joe Mabiza, who played for his Harry Solomon's handicap and not to try and win the game. And then Alvin Boertes. Where's Alvin? Alvin, you carried us. Well done.
What do you win, Johnny?
We won 3rd position. We also still didn't win anything. It will be very unfair for the organizers to win something. So that team, I know personally she would have carried that team. Thank you. In this team on 95 points, Richard, Leonard, Kali, oh yeah, that's another ringer that. And Greg has unfortunately left. Okay, guys, and I can just say to you that Mr. Richard Walker, who can't putt for his life, scored 75 today.
Did you reach it? Yes. Thanks.
Lenny? Alec? There's Lenny.
Kali, you must have carried these boys, eh? Is it 2 each? Yeah, you sat on my back.
Yeah, it's and Kali.
Just post me.
Let Richard be in a photo because we'll hear this for the next 50 Kreefloop. So thank you very much for all of you attending the golf. We're now going to turn to the memorial service where we honor and remember Sona. In the last decade or so, Alistair and Sona became close friends, so much so that when he heard that Sona had passed away, just like the rest of us, he was shocked. But he jumped on the first plane all the way from Portugal, Porto in Portugal, to be here. And Ali has spent the last week with the family, mourning the passing of Sona, and we asked him to please organize the memorial for us because we thought he was the best placed person to do so. So I would want to call Dr. Alistair Reiters to please come and take over the memorial service for us. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the Dass family. So today I think it's a celebration. Sona would have expected nothing else from us than to celebrate his career as a golfer. So we hope you enjoy it, but I'm probably the least qualified person to talk about Sona's life, so I feel a bit under a bit of pressure, knowing that Monique is here, Ami's here, Nandi's here, Pav is here, and they know a lot more about Sona as a husband, Sona as a father, Sona as a grandfather. So apart from playing golf, which Sona loved, I think all of you know Sona played golf twice a day. We also brought Sona's clubs. So Sona's clubs are here. His Muras, his Kramski putter, and his driver that all of you know.
All-purpose driver.
He hit off. I mean, if he could putt with his driver, he'd probably putt with the driver as well. But all his clubs are here, and we just thought it's a nice token to have it here and just feel his presence in the room today. So Sona was born in 1954. He always told me, you know, Alistair, I was born 10 years before you, and in 1964, I visited District 6 with my family. I came on holiday. And we arrived in Cape Town in 1964, and I went into District 6, and I smelled the most amazing curry in District 6. And this was Sona. Sona liked to talk like this. He said, that smell made an impression on me for the rest of my life. And one day, I was walking in Kenilworth Centre, or as we like in Cape Town to say, KC Centre. And he said, I smelled that curry again. And he then went into the shop and he said, you know what? I remember this curry from when I was 10 years old. It's not possible, eh? And the woman looked at him and said, where did you smell the curry? And he said, I was 10 years old and I smelled the curry in District 6. And she said, you know what? My parents had a shop in District 6. That curry you smell is the same curry that we're making today. So, as you can see, Sona is in front of his father. He was a very precocious youngster. That look that he's got there tells you this is a guy who's going to go far in life. But as a 10-year-old, the reason I gave you the story about the curry, Sona was perceptive, Sona was aware, and Sona had something which he spoke to all of us about, and that was consciousness. But you can see it started at a very young age. So again, family, I hope I've done justice. So this was Sona's wedding day to Monique. I'm sure Monique is best placed to speak about this. But this was Sona when life was ahead and thinking of kids and a family, starting a family. that's the family, the boys, with Monique. And this is actually Nandi's wedding, but there's a new guy that appeared. A guy called Vash, who over the last 12 days I've grown to know in a lot more intimately, and grown to like and love a lot. He might have married into the family, but he's certainly one of the family from the way in which I've seen him interact over the last few. He's the guy, the last few days. He's the guy in the white there. If you don't, if you don't. So along came Sona's grandkids, and Sona, being a golfer, tried to introduce his granddaughters to golf, and I think he tried to entice them onto the golf course by picking flowers on different occasions. He also tried to encourage them to play golf. So I think all of us at some point, whoever's played with Sona, and Uncle Joe will, this used to really irritate Joe on the golf course, because Sona played golf often, and Sona played golf well, but Sona thought of himself as a golf instructor. He gave, whenever someone was prepared to listen, he was prepared to give you a lesson on the golf course. So I could only assume this was Sona honing his skills at home before he got onto the golf course with the serious golfers that we are. But you can see he's practicing here, and good green as well that he's putting on. So apart from golf, Sona also ran a coal business. His family has a long history of trading coal in the Benoni area in Johannesburg. And Sona moved down to Cape Town. And those of you who've had the privilege of traveling with Sona on a long distance trip will know that Sona was very, very competent at driving a car, but also very fast. And this is just some pictures here of the business that he ran together with his sons in later years. But this was Sona's life up until he retired in just before 2010 to become a full-time golfer. So now we get to the full-time golfer, and Sona is very proud of all his awards, and this just gives you a sense of the numerous prizes that Sona won. And just for those who don't have good eyesight, we also have the Wells Davids Golf Day. Yes, we made the ball. What did you say? That's why I pointed it out, because just for those who don't know, but, Mr. Wells and Mr. Davids are present here tonight. And so he's very proud of his achievements. So you can see he's taking selfies. And on some occasions, he was even taking photos of his own trophies, while Pavi was taking pictures of him. And then one of the Sona's biggest achievements and probably most proud moments were the hole-in-ones that he achieved at Milnerton, and probably there was one other at the River Club, the prestigious River Club. Sona had a hole-in-one there, and Sona recorded all his hole-in-ones, and I don't know if it's possible to play it, but we've been watching it over the last few days. One day Sona played 2 games a day. One time he was on, I think, the 4th, the par 3 on the 4th or the 5th, the 11th hole. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning in summer. But Sona was playing alone, so he had no one to witness the hole-in-one. So he went up to one of the, I think it was a security guard, one of the ground staff, and put his phone on and said, "What did you see?" So, and you had this recording with a guy saying, well, I saw you on the tee box and I saw you hit the ball, and then I saw the ball roll into the hole. Okay, I'm taking that to the club, and that was his evidence. So clearly, we're not sure whether Sona put the ball in here, but he also took a picture of his hole-in-ones here. And further evidence that, and these are all authentic. These were not bought at ShopRite or. So.
You think you can't buy anything?
Okay. So there are a few perfect fluke on the 11th hole. Another perfect fluke. I think there's one we're still trying to verify whether it was the 14th or the.
I know it was the 11th.
11th.
Two on the
Okay.
11th and two on the 1st.
But for anyone who doubts any of these achievements, you can go outside on the this wall of honor here. There it is. Sona's name appears quite often at the bottom there. So I think I saw Johnny's name here as well on one.
No, it's
Pure fruit.
yeah, it's definitely.
And then Sona's family was really involved in his golfing career. And each time there was a hole-in-one, they made a cake to celebrate the hole-in-one. So this is, Papi, this is a hole-in-one cake. Yeah, so if anyone wants to order a hole-in-one cake. And these are some of the golf tours that we've been on. This tour, I think I went with, this is the Benoni Boys golf tour, the Hearties golf tour that we've been on. That was also, I think, at Pinnacle Point. That's, I think, Kamal.
Where's Kamal?
Other Kamal Singh. Another tour.
That's Obai.
There was
I don't know that one.
there was a Southern Cape.
Obai.
Oh, and that's,
Check it out.
I'm not sure. Well, I'm looking at Table Mountain there, so I don't know if anyone can see other people. But I think if you add all those guys' ages together, I'm sure you're probably going to get something like 200 years there. So there's a lot of golfing.
Catches up with Table Mountain.
What's the average handicap?
The average handicap? No, I don't know. I was just going to say there's a hell of a lot of golfing experience there.
Thank God.
Fan court.
Vancouver, yeah, Southern Cape.
Yeah. Okay, so this picture tells a lot of stories here because Sona participated in the World Pro-Am, and I think at the time, Joe, Kamal, and I were always being told about Lisa, and how Lisa was helping his swing, and the lady, I think, next to Sona, that's Sona's coach, Lisa. He went on tour. Lisa again with Sona. Somewhere in Durban? Kamal,
That's Obai.
Obai. And that actually is a very interesting picture. I asked to have it included because this year the Crave Look will be in Robertson. And that's the Robertson Clubhouse. We were on our way back from a tour in Mossel Bay. We stopped over Shiraz, Kamal, Sona and I. And we took this picture there after Sona and I beat Kamal and Shiraz. That was, you bought the coffee, if I recall.
You make up stories. You make up.
Sona was measuring the sugar consciously. And one of the best memories I have with Sona is that after each golf game we played here, he always said, come over for lunch. And on this occasion, maybe 2 years ago, I was here on my birthday. And he invited me over, and Ami cooked chocolate cake. So this was one of the birthday celebrations. I mean, baked a chocolate cake. And you can see, I think this was still during the COVID times because we had green stickers on during the COVID, or just after.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Yeah, you also
this was,
swatting the cake rather than blowing it.
oh, because we couldn't, yeah, correct. Absolutely, yeah. And then we all know Sona's cards, the black and the green. And then if you look in the corner here, for those of us, or those of you who've gone on tour with Sona, that's the trailer that we filled up with golf gear, braai gear,
And his pillow.
and his pillow. Everything went into that box in front there, but served us well because we got a lot of things on camp, or we took a lot of goods on camp. And there's another picture of that box. And the way Sona hooked up that trailer, we all just stood back and watched him when he put the cart on. I think that was Sona's birthday tour, because I remember him putting all the golf bags on the trailer when we went down to Pinnacle Point for his birthday 9 years ago. Okay, that's, I think, on our way somewhere either to the Eastern Cape or to Mossel Bay. Sona, whenever we traveled to Mansoura, he always insisted Mansoura drive, so that's why Sona and I were sitting at the back in Sona's van when he had the van. Sona with his two boys. Do you know where that was?
That's his birthday.
60th birthday. And many of you remember those nights at the 60th birthday. They were quite heated and tense. But Spencer was, I don't know if I should say, but it's a fun moment. For those of you who remember, we all started doing speeches. You know, we said, okay, everyone, whoever wants to say something can say something. And Spencer, and I have to put this in context, I think this was like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and we'd been drinking from about 4, 5. Spencer got up and said that, you know, it's not often that he gets invited, or he's never been invited to a party like this, and then he started crying. And then he was crying, and then someone said, but he's Charlie Chaplin's cousin or Charlie Chaplin's nephew, but you were drunk, so Charlie Chaplin, is he Charlie Chaplin? No, he looks like Charlie Chaplin. And maybe he's not really crying. But anyway, Spencer started crying, and then there was a bit of an argument about scores and how we should select teams. And then Spencer got a bit anxious and decided he wanted to cool himself off. So he opened up the deep freeze and put his head in the deep freeze. And that was his way of cooling down on when golfers have difficult moments and disagreements. So we always say to Spencer, you've never finished your speech that you started 9 years ago. Can you please finish the speech? This same party. Another picture of the party. And Sona's proudest moment. So let's just put something in context. Today, many of you would have received a cap and a shirt with 7-Eleven on it. It's not because Sona had shares in 7-Eleven, but 7-Eleven represents the highest number of golf games Sona played in any 1 year. And in honor of that achievement, Sona was featured in Complete Golfer. So Sona Dass is standing next to Gary Woodland. He's featured along with Tony Finau. So he was up there. And then Sona, man for all seasons. And that's a very apt description, because Sona actually, the rain, the wind never deterred Sona from going onto the golf course. He was up every morning. He'd always say, there's no rain at Milnerton. And as you will see in the next few slides, Sona was out early in the morning, whether this is a nice day, a lovely day, also Pinnacle Point. A few pictures of Sona. Is that Derek? You what? You thin? Some more pictures of Sona's, some tours. That's grain carriers. Grain carriers. And that's Sona in action there.
Gary play a shot, he walks up.
I think Sona's asking someone to be quiet there because he's giving them a look like, please just stand still or be quiet on the tee box. I think that's, yeah. Sona very often Sona would send me pictures of himself saying, look at Table Mountain, and these are the selfies. And this is another example of Sona and the man for all seasons. He took the shower cap from home and he came out to the golf course, took selfies, and there's one, I don't know if the picture's included, but there's a picture of the course flooded. I think, yeah, it was flooded last week and it was flooded a few years ago, but Sona was on the course 12 years ago. Sona was on the course no matter what the weather was like. And that's, we're not sure if that's early morning or late at night, but that's Sona.
I think golf cart is nice.
Yeah. And that's the flag at half-mast last week. So that just gives you a quick sense of what Sona's life was like. I hope it was a celebration of Sona's life. And as Johnny said, I think we'd like to celebrate this, keep the memory of Sona alive by celebrating this every year. Together with the family, we've decided that we'll keep the 7-Eleven as Sona's brand. That's what really in a way, represented what Sona stood for. Sona wanted to be the best at what he did. He wanted to always set the bar somewhere. But he also spoke about integrity. He spoke about, being true to yourself. He spoke about how to live well, how to live healthy. Most of our discussions was either about food, medication, physical fitness, family values, and that represented who Sona was. But I think all of us here enjoyed Sona as the golfer. Enjoyed Sona for what he was, a good human being, and then a golfer. So thank you very much for listening. I hope I did justice to your husband and to your father, and it was fun and enjoyable to travel along with Sona in this journey that he started out as a young boy, as we saw tonight. Thank you.
I don't know if there's more for me to say. I think you've seen it all on pictures. But you saw there, Sona was a man for all seasons. But Sona, the name Sona Dass, means different things to different people. And I think it's appropriate for me to ask at this point in time, who was Sona Dass? Who was this humble, selfless, and generous person? And I thought, let me go and start at the beginning. To his parents, he was an obedient and subservient son. To his siblings, he was a loving and caring brother. To his cousins, he was one that you could always go to if you needed advice or support. To his nieces and nephews, he was a shining example of what an uncle should be. A person who is always there if you needed assistance or advice. To his wife, he was a loving, adorable, and supportive husband. To his children and grandchildren, He was a pillar of strength, a proud and doting father and grandfather. To the Milnerton Golf Club, he was not only a member, but he was an ambassador for the club. He recruited many, including myself, to become members of this club. To the Kreeflopers, who the majority here this evening, we can remember Sona. I think last year he came third. And he was always one who was in every team, captain's team he was the one who made a lot of contribution points-wise towards that, to that things. To the national golfing community, Sona was the man who played the most rounds of golf in a year. And last but not least to me, he was my friend. A friend who I loved and adored and respected, a thorough gentleman and a true golfing partner. A person who was always willing to assist the next person. And allow me to end with this little clip, I'll call it, that Sona related to me. Once he was playing a round of golf with a fair-skinned person. And Sona, speaking Afrikaans to the fellow golfers, this bloke turned around and said, "What are you?" Sona says, and I looked at this bloke, I knew what he was driving at, but I looked at him and said, "What do you mean, what am I?" And he said, "No, are you a colored or what?" And Sona turned around and said to him, "No, I am a South African." And tonight, I must say, I am honored to have been able to pay tribute to this great friend of mine. And to say, I take my hat off to a truly great and remarkable South African. Thank you.
Thank you. Alec Irwin, thanks.
Thank you very much. I will think back 20 or 30 years with Joe, where we were agitators and organizing strikes, and you had to bloody talk loud. Firstly, I'd just like to get this opportunity personally to express face-to-face my condolences to the family. I haven't been able to be with you in these last days, but my thoughts have been with you. I'm going to say a little bit about who's in this room and why that's important in our memories for Sona. Firstly, we're an interesting mixture if you look around this room. There are people of all the different races, religions. There are people from different walks of life. We have people here who've been senior in business, senior in government, who are currently in government. Alvin's a Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. People who've been very senior in our judicial services and systems. People who have been in boards, business leaders. And coming together tonight is quite an interesting mixture. The Kreeflopers are a disparate group of people, different races, some in parliament, some from former government, some in business, and we're delighted to have very senior members of what became an important part of our life. Joe, Johnny, myself, Sona, Kamal, which was a group called the Seniors here in Milnerton. Ari is currently chair of that. And what was, I think, very fascinating about both these groups is many, many discussions about who are we as the South Africans Joe spoke about. Who are we? It's not an easy question. The dialogue and the discussion is never entirely easy. This is one hell of a complex country. And here's where I want to pay tribute to Sona. I think if we are going to become truly a country one day, truly a South African people, we can learn a little bit from Sona Dass. You know, Sona always thought seriously about who is he? Who is Sona Dass? What am I? What do I mean? What does my consciousness signify? How does it link to you? So as many of you know, sometimes after everyone has gone, Sona and I were still debating inside there. No, I don't agree with that interpretation of the Messianic religions. No. I think this is this form of consciousness is science. He said, no, it's not science, Alec. This is consciousness. We'd have these debates and discussions, but he was prepared to listen. And I think testimony tonight of what Sona was, he was one of those human beings that our country needs badly. That's why I will miss him greatly, and I'm sure we all will. But Sona was a human integrator. He listened, he offered opinions, he took humanity seriously, he took life and pleasure seriously. But I think Sona has left in each one of us a little bit more wisdom than we had before we met him. Sona, play well up there, improve your handicap, and we'll have a dop for you every now and again. Thank you, Sona, for being in my life. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I must say, when Alistair asked me to say a few words today, it's difficult to prepare for a speech like this. About a week ago, both Pavi and I had to deliver a speech at the funeral, and I went through the same emotion. It's hard to sum up 38 years of life with a truly remarkable person. So today I'm going to keep it quite short, and luckily this particular part of the speech is called a vote of thanks, and there are a lot of people to thank. Firstly, I would like to thank the gentleman involved in putting today together. My dad loved golf, but more importantly, he loved people. And I think if people coming together to play golf in his name is something that's very special and something that would have really touched his heart. So thank you to Alistair, Uncle Johnny, Uncle Joe, Uncle Alec, Uncle Kamal, and whoever else was involved. I know there's a lot of hands that go into this, even for driving some of the apparel down. Even the speed tickets can't be reimbursed, so unfortunately that's all on you. No, but the most important thank you is to all of you for the friendship over the years. I've come to know a lot of you as my uncles, as my aunties. I've come to know all of you as friends through all of that. And for those of you who I haven't met, I guarantee you I've heard lots of stories about you. My dad had an amazing way of remembering every single shot he ever played. I can't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but he can remember exactly what he did on the 14th hole 7 years ago And he can describe it in such a way that it makes you feel like you're there. He describes the weather conditions, how he felt, what he was thinking. I think it's truly remarkable, especially considering how many rounds of golf he actually played. So we got hold of the numbers. 711 was the highest number that he achieved in a year, which was last year. He played 4,950 rounds of golf since he became a member at Milnerton, which was in 2010. So that's quite a remarkable number as well. And for this year, he was on 242 rounds. And that would have been, up to a couple of hours before, unfortunately, we lost him. My dad, as I mentioned, the most important thing to him throughout his entire life were the people that were in his life. And that's one of the greatest things that I think he left us with is the associations, the values, and the ability to relate to people. That, if nothing else, is the legacy that I think all of us will carry forward. That little piece of him, that smile, always, I don't think I've ever seen him meet someone without shaking their hand. It's become part of who we are as well, as a family. I don't think he's ever eaten a meal without sharing what he's had. And this started from the time he was a child. And certainly, if any opportunity to be in someone's company for just a few minutes longer, even if some of us are tired at home and want to go to sleep, my dad would take that. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts for putting this together, for celebrating his life, and most importantly, for the friendship that you've given him and us over the years. Thank you.